Two things. 70 more guests showed up than were invited. Turns out Mill was inviting people and not telling us. We ran out of chairs, food, everything. Someone stole the wedding gifts. Many years ago I worked in the wedding industry for 5 years. Video. Here's a snippet of disasters. Mother of the groom got really drunk and fell onto the wedding cake. Caught on camera. Best man went to the bathroom. Took his wedding ring off to wash his hands. Left it on the counter. Not even a minute later he went back in and it was gone. Never found it. Mother of the bride spilt liquid foundation down the front of her raw silk dress before they left the house. Had to wear a different outfit. Wedding reception set up an entire wedding for approximately 400 guests with a totally wrong color scheme. Flowers and food. There was a wedding the next day. And unbelievably the bride and groom of that wedding had exactly the same names. So my cousin recently got married to his long-term partner and the actual wedding itself went really well. The reception directly after the ceremony, however, was marred somewhat by the bride's parents announcing halfway through the night and completely out of the blue that they would be divorcing. Not my wedding but my parents'. I wasn't around to experience it, but their friends and family still talk about it to this day. The main culprit was the heavy rain that caused minor flooding and tons of road closures. Mother was very late to the church. My father broke down convinced that she was going to be a no-show. My sisters. As we were sitting down to eat, a guest started screaming. The groom's mother went into cardiac arrest. I called 911. Someone ran out and told me that they had better come back into the venue. I run inside and see my grandfather laying on the floor. I ended up riding with him to the hospital. I think he just fainted from the commotion, but we didn't know that at the time. Doctor looked at both of them as they were being wheeled in and remarked, "Must have been one hell of a party." I've told this story before on Reddit, but here are the bulleted highlights. So equals significant other. The wedding itself went off quickly and relatively smoothly. It was a really quick ceremony. It was before and after that were the problems. I didn't know if lady friends would have games with sexual innuendo as I'd never been to a wedding. Showered before. So's brother brought an uninvited and unannounced girlfriend to the rehearsal and then demanded I include her in the wedding. I'd never met her before. They were from out of state. And he didn't tell us in advance that he was bringing a date. The girl stood outside and smoked the entire time. SO's stepmother gave men in the wedding party money to take him out to a strip club and get a hooker. So's mother cried because we had not put together an intricate ceremony that she could participate in, though we told her in advance it was better to do nothing than to try and include everyone. Stepmother, bio mother, my mom, grandmothers. So's brother came to my hotel room the night before the wedding, drunk and crying because he and the new girlfriend got into a fight. He then told me I'd made a mistake and had chosen the wrong brother, lunged at me with his tongue out and started groping me. Next morning, I walk out into the common area where people are having breakfast. So's father is there and begins to insult my family because of how cheap everything looks. My dad was sick and unemployed at the time, but Phil knew that, which made it more hurtful. I reminded Phil of this and the fact that I'd paid for everything myself. semicolon. Ceremony goes fine. So's stepmother insults several of my friends' looks as they are trying to eat. One of my bridesmaids is a woman with multiple disabilities. I worked for her and provided care for many years when I worked in social services. Groomsmen make fun of her and they ask why all the retards at this wedding. My grandfather sees a tattoo of a dragon through the back of my dress. I wasn't remotely overweight. Maid of Honor's mother breaks down and starts crying when she hears Nat King Cole playing. Apparently it was her and her recently deceased husband's favorite song and she is absolutely falling in the middle of the reception. Maid of Honor and I have to take her outside and calm her down while someone changes the music. The best part is, we had legally gotten married at a courthouse 6 months before, told no one, and only had the wedding because of our ducking families. Mother-in-law made the wedding about herself. Not the biggest issue though. She did 2 things I'll never forget. 1. 2. Again my mother-in-law, drunk as hell already on wedding wine before we even started getting dressed, approached me right as we were doing the group pictures and said, "Congratulations. Looks like I'm now the new mom." And then she noticed the rage-filled look on my face and quietly said, "In-law." She was sitting next to the rose I had placed on my mother's chair before the service started. Oh, and the night before at the rehearsal dinner, my dumbass sister who was a bridesmaid totaled my mother's car she was illegally driving while intoxicated, right in front of the restaurant, and had my soon-to-be wife hold her purse while she spoke to the police without telling her there was a pipe and bag of weed in it. I'll never forget May to June of 2017. Off topic, but I love that one story about the future mother-in-law that insisted on wearing white to the wedding, so the maid of honor took matters into her own hands and accidentally spilled red wine all over the mother-in-law's dress. Maid of honor legit took her job seriously and the bride totally made the right choice with her, haha. My mother-in-law accidentally on purpose destroyed our favor boxes. Our photographer had a stroke before the wedding but assured us she would still come and take pictures. She came, but without her camera. Our cat peed on my wife's wedding gown, then ran away the night before the wedding, forcing the bridesmaids to hunt through the neighborhood at night for it. The wedding cake was disgusting and in the wrong colors. The mother and father of the bride showed up 10 minutes before the wedding, not even dressed, wanting us to help them get ready. And for good measure, on our honeymoon, we had the license plate stolen off our car. Happily married 10 years now.